I am going to take you along how I plan my week as a business owner. I am a therapist and a mindset coach, and I help women, entrepreneurs, and ambitious women feel more confident in both life and business. First, what tools I use for the week. The first tool that I use is my physical planner, which is the weekly reset planner from Lavendaire. I like to sit down at the end of the week and look at my digital planner, which is a project management tool called ClickUp. I use ClickUp specifically for my business. I don't tend to put personal tasks there. For personal tasks, I like to keep them on my physical planner, or I'll make a small note in my notes app and then transfer it to my physical planner. That's how I like to separate things, especially because I don't have ClickUp on my phone, because I like to keep that separation. If I always have access to all the tasks that I have to get done for my business, it's hard to then like shift my focus on my days off for personal tasks. Now I also use a meal plan, like a weekly meal plan pad. And I got this at Target, and I'll link everything down below. But what me and my husband like to do on Sunday morning is just while we're having coffee, we will sit down and I will think about all of the meals I want to make for the week. This really helps me just to view what I'm eating throughout the week, makes me make better choices. And then once I figure out what meals I want to eat for the week, we share this app called Our Home, and he will go in and look at all of the ingredients that we're missing, and we'll go and do the grocery shopping. So that really helps for the week. Like, I think of the plan and then he executes by going to the grocery store. And that's just been so helpful. It's easy for me to plan the meals because we developed a system. What we did is on Airtable, which is something my husband created, it's a list of all of our meals. So if we tried a new recipe that we liked, we would add it to that list with the recipe, with the ingredients, all of that. And one time we went to a coffee shop, and because I wanted to know exactly like how many calories I was consuming, we went in there and broke it even down that way. So that has been so helpful for me because I could just reference that Airtable, think about like, okay, what do I want to eat this week? And easily able to do that meal plan. We create systems. It just makes it so much easier for us to make these decisions, making your meal planning quicker, making everything just so much smoother. So I recommend, like, if you guys don't have a digital like recipe list of all your meals that you enjoy, you need to, because that's just going to make it so much easier. You don't have to think about like, what do I want to eat? Like, you look at the list of things you already know how to make. And I would even go further. We haven't done this, but maybe it's something we could do, is put how long it takes to make that meal, because then you can make an executive decision on, okay, maybe I have so much going on that week and I need a like 30-minute meal. And sometimes we do that. We will get like a frozen meal for that week if we know we might not have a lot of time that week to actually cook, because we cook every day for the most part, like every day in the week, and we'll just like take turns. Like, Adam goes into the office on Tuesdays, so I will make the meal on Tuesdays because I get off early from seeing clients. So that's just kind of how we do that, and it just makes our life so much easier. And then like Sundays, we usually do like a cleanup, very quick cleanup. I like to do cleanups on Friday, like small different cleanups throughout the week, so that I don't feel like I'm cleaning all day on Sunday. Adam actually does the laundry too. So what I'll do is sometimes I'll separate the clothes, and sometimes I'll just get him started by putting the first load, and he will put things away. So again, that also helps a lot when it comes to planning and feeling good. I also just use my notes app. So I have a folder that's called Weekly List Reference, and here I will have a list of things I've been avoiding. I will have a trigger list for a brain dump. A trigger list can look like having words like doctor's appointment, insurance stuff, like things like that, that if you look at that list, oh yeah, I need to schedule that doctor's appointment, it just triggers you to make that decision. So I have that. And then one of the things that I've been recently doing that's been so helpful is I will plan week outfits. So I will plan them. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I'll just do a I'll just do a screenshot. But I like to plan my outfits for the week, and how I do that is I have a Pinterest board. And I don't know about you, if you have a Pinterest board and you've always saying like, oh, I'm gonna dress this way, or I'm gonna wear this, or I'm gonna recreate that. Well, I actually decided to do it on Sunday and pick outfits from my Pinterest list and try to find outfits with things already in my closet to remake that outfit. And this has really helped not only my self-esteem, I've been able to wear outfits that I feel confident in. I've been able to not feel like I have to impulsively shop for something new. I don't have to make that decision that day to pick out an outfit. So my habit is to pick out the outfits on Sundays. Now that doesn't mean like, let's just say that week I just don't or that I'll make a decision not to wear it, but this just helps like, oh, you don't even have to think about it. Just look at this and you will know what outfits to wear. So I will download the picture from Pinterest and I'll put it in the notes app on the week outfits list. And then I have things like what I'll be investing in, what I will be buying. All of these lists just help me make better decisions throughout the week because I am able to reference them back. Like if I want to buy something, I'm like, reference your weekly list of things you won't be buying. If it's in there, girl, you're not buying it. So those are just some things that have helped me just set better habits for myself when it comes to finances, when it comes to planning things. And those are all the things that little upgrades that I've done to just help my week go by smoothly. So now I want to chat with you how I plan on ClickUp, like all my tasks on ClickUp, how I use my Google Calendar, and then how I put everything in my physical planner. And I'll be answering some questions as well. Let's get started. Speaking of systems, I do have a weekly reset checklist where I have everything that I do to plan and just to get clean and current. The Get Clear, Get Current, I actually got this idea from Michelle B on YouTube, and then I've just added my own spin to it. So Get Clear, I want to bring my email inbox to 0, clear my desk, get mail, get current at any upcoming events, brain dump, do my weekly planner reset, check in on my 12-week goals, check YouTube analytics, meal plan, pick outfits for the week. Now, this may seem like a lot, but it is not. Because I do this every week, it doesn't feel overwhelming. Like clearing my desk, I have a few things. Bringing my inbox to 0. When I'm in bring email inbox to 0, what I'll do, let's just say I've gotten emails on the weekend, I will move them to action required so that on Monday when I'm looking at emails, I actually respond to the email. So I'm not actually emailing people on Sunday unless I've got the Sunday scaries. And what I'll do is I'll schedule out emails for it to go out Monday morning. I am still respecting my boundary by just scheduling them out because people think that I send it on Monday morning versus sending it on Sunday when I'm looking at it. So that's just like a way that I like to balance things. And again, they don't take as much time. I'm timing myself. So I'm going to share with you how much time this actually takes to do all of these tasks. Like I said, I use ClickUp to manage all of my work tasks. I'm a solo therapist and I run my own practice. So I like to keep everything digitally. And then when I do my planning week, I like to move it to my physical planner, which is the weekly reset planner. And this way I can really see what I'm assigning myself. I think digitally, sometimes we could feel like, oh, like I can do this XX. And for me, like that's what I find myself. Sometimes I'll get into the trap of just putting too much on my days. And so when I look at it on Sundays and then break it down, I could be like, oh, okay, this is the only thing that I have time for. And so then I just reference my paper planner and then I just move things around in my digital planner. I hope that makes sense. But this is my dashboard. And as you can see, this is all of my weekly to-do list. But when I'm planning, because I also have my VA supports me throughout the month with some tasks I want to delegate. And so what I like to do is I like to go into this view. If you go into spaces, everything, and you can see all of Kaylee's tasks and you can see my tasks. Why? Because this can help me just better understand like what's coming up for both of us, and are there specific things that I need to review before so she can get her things done. So like for instance, she has like create a draft for a email, and then I have review email in Flowdesk, because she won't be able to schedule that email unless I review it first, just to make sure like there isn't anything that I don't want there after seeing it, after formatting in Flowdesk, which is like where I send my emails. So things like that. But for now, let's just stick to me and look at my tasks, because I've already looked at Kaylee's tasks. I do that on Fridays. Like I look at my VA's tasks and I make sure that it doesn't conflict with my tasks. But on Sunday, this is all about me. This is all about what I have going on in the week. And so this is what I have going on. I have a couple of tasks on Monday. This one is a reel that I need to post. And so I have everything here. Like I'll have like inspo pictures, the caption already done, and then I'll have the actual video. So this just makes it so much easier for when I have to upload it on Instagram. It's going to be super easy. And then I have to add some links in the description for this video, edit this video. And I know that Kaylee's out of the office, so I know I don't have her support that Monday. So I moved her tasks around since I knew that she was going to be out. And then I got to upload this video. So that is what I'll have for Monday. And then Tuesday, I just have review things. And then Wednesday is my day off. So Wednesday is usually when I will just do personal tasks. So I don't really do business tasks. Will be personal tasks since it's my day off. And then Thursdays I have just brainstorming for the month, and there is a newsletter that's coming out. And then again, assign tasks to Kaylee, create a YouTube thumbnail, record, and then upload YouTube shorts for the month. So this is basically all the tasks that I have for the week. And what I do before is I like to do a brain dump of tasks. Like if there's something in my brain that I haven't really put on my digital planner, I like to write down like what is on my mind, what is something that I may not have captured in my digital planner that is still holding space in my head. This really does help me feel less anxious. But I like this view personally because I can move tasks like from week to week. So I really like this. Now I do use my dashboard, but that's more like looking at everything all at once, versus this is where I could just focus on tasks. And then if we go here to my calendar, I like to reference my calendar back and forth. There is a calendar view on ClickUp, but I don't necessarily use it as much. I like to use my Google Calendar. And so for those tasks, you may be wondering like, well, when do you have time to do those tasks? If you see the green, this is my focus time. So this is where I'll probably be focusing on editing that video. And then I have an hour here in between clients where I can also do tasks. And then Tuesday is pretty hectic. Tuesday, I typically do like a working lunch, like the first 30 minutes or first 15 minutes of my lunch. I get my case notes done and I will do those little review things. Like if I just have to review an email, that takes about 10 to 15 minutes. If it even takes that long. But I'm pretty good now that I have systems to really make the most out of my time. I do not waste time unless I'm like really like scatterbrained. That probably means that I didn't really plan well. And I just see that as evidence for next week. And so then Wednesdays I have off, but I do have therapy. And again, if I have any personal appointments, I tend to schedule them on Wednesdays. So I like this because also Wednesdays, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, like thinking like, oh my gosh, there's so many things to clean for the weekend, then on Wednesday, I kind of do like a little mini clean. I don't have to put it on my calendar. It's just something that I know. I do like just a 15-minute quick clean around the house if I need to. And then on Thursdays, it is a heavy work day. So on Thursdays, I'll either, if I have a video to record, I will record it or use that space for, again, just doing admin tasks. And again, I have that same break. And then on Fridays, I have more flexibility because I don't see clients. It's not a client day, and I either will edit or record or again do some of the tasks that I have in my planner. And this week is actually my husband and I's 4-year anniversary. We have a little staycation for Friday. So Friday to Saturday, since Thursday's a work day for both of us, we're not celebrating on Thursday. We're celebrating it on Friday. So yeah, so this is how I time block. It works for me. It's simple. Now, I didn't add like my actual client appointments because privacy and HIPAA and confidentiality. And so here's the thing. Sometimes these blocked of times are not usually blocked. Like if I look at my actual calendar where I can actually see this is my calendar. You just can't see the actual appointments. I've actually finished my day by 6, and so I have an hour from 6 to 7 where I could either do work or finish early for the day. It just depends. And then like on Tuesday it is a full day. Let's see, Thursday, my last client is at 3, so I have all of this time block in the afternoon to do tasks. There was a question that somebody asked me, like, what happens when you don't have time to do everything, or maybe when things just don't go as planned. I try to move it to a different time during the week to do it, or if it truly cannot be done, I will move it to next week. So something about me, like if I have let's just say I'm worried about like editing a video, recording a video, if I really need to make that decision to not post that week, I will make it. Like I try to prioritize my clients, try to prioritize my personal goals, my relationships, and those are always going to come first than, YouTube and things like that, and not in a bad way, but that's how I can keep the balance. They asked me, what are the essentials when I don't have time? The essentials are my clients. The essentials are writing case notes because I know how behind I'll feel. Case notes are basically right after a session. I like to write a little bit about how the session went, just to keep track of like what's going on, what progress my clients are making, and then any little personal touches that I need to remember. I like to make sure that my clients know that I'm here for them, that I'm listening, that I truly care about what's going on. And I'm also wanting to track, like, is what I'm doing, the treatment working? Do we have to change it? Do I need to get more feedback from the client? So that is always essential. And then essential things are always going to be my workouts, my morning routine. I love, again, this is because I have systems that I could be able to stick to them because they're always the first thing in the morning. I always say if you are struggling with getting tasks done, especially if you live a busy life, can you wake up an hour early to get these things done? And it starts with your nighttime routine. Like, are you sleeping early? Are you getting enough sleep? Now, my nighttime routine starts at 9 p.m. and I may not always have a lot of time in at night to just, get things done. At night, it's really just like eating our dinner, like catching up with my husband, playing with Wilson. And really, it's only like 2 hours out of that sometimes whenever I have clients till 7 o'clock. But I have all my morning, and I like to prioritize my morning because I get to spend time with my husband. I actually get to sit and have coffee and like have a conversation. And then we're really good about having date nights on Tuesdays. That is essential. Like, that is not going away. Like, again, if you have to prioritize the things that are important to you in that season, and for me, it is having date nights, it is having therapy scheduled. These are all things that are already scheduled, so I don't have to make the decision to be like, oh, let's not go to date night today. No, I will make that decision if it's necessary, especially if me and my husband maybe feel too tired, maybe the day was like draining, then we'll make the decision to still spend time during that block. But maybe it's watching a movie, maybe it's just having dinner together with our phones, like those kinds of things, but we still prioritize that. And I also have to say, like, super like disclaimer, we do not have kids. We don't have kids, so I know that puts an additional layer of just you have more things to be responsible for. And so my strategy and how I do things may not be as helpful, but I do think that if you time block, if you prioritize these things, think about, where you can add some of these things that will just make your life easier. Especially with my clients who are moms, it's hard to make that choice to prioritize yourself. So I say, if it's in the morning, how can you talk with your partner to make it easier for both of you when it comes to managing, the household and kids and all that? I think can be very important. Now, again, disclaimer, I'm a business owner, so that means that I do have more flexibility in how I schedule my day. And so I just want to say that because I'm very grateful for it. But one of the things too that people who may have a 9 to 5 don't realize about entrepreneurship is that even though we may have some of these time blocks and we have maybe more time freedom, in our brain, it never stops. Like, I feel sometimes I have to purposefully schedule these days off in order for me to take time off, in order for me to not feel like I have to be constantly working. And those were the traps that I fell into when I first started, and creating routines and things like that and systems like this have really helped. So that's what I like to do. I like to review my ClickUp, the workload section, and then review my calendar to see if there is anything that is going on. Wednesday is pretty open, so if I have things that I need to get done, I will tend to do it on Wednesday. One of the things that I like to do is I like to look at my things I've been avoiding list, and I just keep this on my notes app. And so I just have things I've been avoiding, like scheduling an OBGYN appointment. Like, that's something that I'll add here, or like closing a bank account that I've don't even use anymore, and then finding a new dentist on our insurance. Like, those are 3 things that I've been avoiding. And so what I'll do is I try to do one thing a week that I've been avoiding. So I think I'm going to pick closing the bank account because that just feels so much easier. And the OBGYN appointment, I'm still looking for an OBGYN. So that's going to take more time. So I encourage you, if you have already a lot to do in a week, it might not be good to have the things that you've been avoiding list. This is only if you have weeks like this where maybe you have space and you're trying to find what will make my life better. By doing these things, how will it move my life forward? And so for me, if I close this bank account, that is a loop that I'm closing. So I don't have to be thinking about it. I don't have to be worried about it. And so thinking about those things, writing a list of things you've been avoiding, and maybe incorporating some time during the week to do those, like calling a dentist, scheduling an appointment, things like that, which I think, I don't know if it's a millennial thing that we tend to avoid to do, like getting on the phone. So that is what I do. He asked, how do you find the most important tasks and not dwell on the little things? I think, to be very honest with you, it definitely takes time to not dwell on the little things. I think for me, what's most important is, if I think about the little things, will I then not appreciate all I have accomplished, right? Because I think when we write to-do lists, and let's just say we get our big 3 done, but then we said, oh, well, I still have time. I always encourage you, let's just say you've done your top 3 tasks and you still have time that day to do more, I would honestly discourage you from doing more, because that actually primes your brain to think that what you did wasn't productive. So you're telling yourself you always have to do more. Now, on the other hand, if let's just say it's going to help you to do maybe one more task, so that your week goes smoother, then totally. But if you're just adding more, and then again the next day you don't have any more tasks because you did it the previous day, and now you're going to add more and more, use that time to schedule that walk that you didn't feel like you had time for, to prep for your meal that day if you now have time for. Use that time to do things that you may not always have time for. That's how I see it. Opportunities to make my day better is, if I'm on point with my tasks, then I will do something nice for myself. I will work on my hobby. I will do these things. And again, not everything has to be scheduled. I just think the most important things that you need to remember or that you want to block out time for are here. When I think of balance, I also think of like, what are your priorities? I don't give myself pressure to do everything. I have specific goals I focus on, and those take my attention. So if you haven't looked at like my 12-week goals, like those are the things that I'm focusing on, and anything more, I say no. And I've worked really hard to be able to set those boundaries, to say no. And that's one of the things we forget about setting boundaries. They're not for other people, they're for us. So the person might keep doing the thing that we don't want to do, and that's okay, but there'll be a consequence if they continue doing it, so that is what boundaries are. Boundaries are not to not let people in, but to let people know what our limit is. And so if I have specific goals, like I've had people reach out to network, to have coffee, and if that's not my goal is not networking, at least in this season, then I'm gonna say no. And so it's important, like if a friend needs something and maybe it's a time where I'm scheduled to do something very important for my goals, I may say no, or I may incorporate my friend in my goals. So for instance, like working out, what I've been doing, because I've been also wanting to reach out to friends and, like spend time with friends, I will ask friends if they want to go to like a dance class with me, or if they want to try a new workout class. That way I can, one, hang out with them and also work on my goal and focus on my goal of working out and fitness. And so I would even encourage you, like if you want to spend time with friends, like ask them, hey, I have like all these errands to run. Do you want to, tag along and like spend time together? Like those are the things that we can do in order to make our life easier and not feel like we're just constantly slaves to our tasks and to our goals. We can still find time for the important relationships in our life. So those are most of the questions that people asked as far as like everything, and how I plan and how I feel about planning. I'm actually now going to write all of these things down, and or what I have here digitally to my physical planner, and then I'm going to show you how I set it up. So my planner is the weekly reset planner, and it has sections for most important tasks, weekly goals, self-care, and a habit tracker. And so the habit tracker is always going to be focused on the habits that I'm trying to achieve or work on that month. So that's working out, that's like going for a walk, like walks, journaling, tracking my food. Those are all things that are already important to me. And then self-care, like therapy, spending time with my hobbies, maybe doing one thing that I've been avoiding. And then weekly goals, right? Like what am I trying to achieve that week? I like having weekly goals because at the end of the week, I could be like, did I achieve this? Does it feel good? So in total, it took me about 27 minutes to do my whole weekly planning routine. So again, I had to kind of like stop and go because I was chatting with you all like through all the planning, but it really is just creating systems. And when you create systems, your planning routine is going to be so much more smoother. Thank you so much for watching this plan with me video where I take you along planning my week. If you want to know more about my goals, what I've been working on, then definitely watch all of my 12-week year videos. I have a whole playlist where I take you along all those things. Now I also have videos on, how to stop procrastinating, things like that can help you just make upgrades for your week, be better at getting tasks done. And yeah, so there's so many things for anyone who is struggling with procrastination or feeling overwhelmed. I hope that this video helped, gave you some inspiration, and I'll talk to you next time.